think that Donald Trump is a better president than Abraham Lincoln. There's a new Economist YouGov poll from right around Thanksgiving. And it's a normal poll where they ask about many things. They ask about presidential approval, opinions of items in the news. But then it has something very interesting. And it asks, how do you see Trump versus past presidents? And this is a real insight into Trumpist minds. And it also relates to some cognitive biases that are important to understand. So this will be useful. Voters were asked, which Republican was a better president, Donald Trump or Abraham Lincoln? Most demographic groups, no matter how you slice it, were pretty evenly united that Lincoln was a better president. If you look at men and women roughly equally, mid-70s to mid-20s, believe Lincoln was a better president. Okay. When you look at different income groups, people earning under 50,000, between 50 and 100,000, and more than 100,000, roughly by the same 3-to-1 margin, they view Lincoln as the better president than Donald Trump. But when you look at party identification, Republicans by a 53-to-47 margin believe that Donald Trump is a better president than Abraham Lincoln. Now, as a side note, before we continue, Republicans also think Trump is a way better president than George W. Bush by a 71-to-29 margin, which is stunning. And again, George W. Bush was no angel, truly, but Trump, incredible. But let's discuss what's going on here, because there's evidence of a few different things. Number one, there is a blinding ideology for some where they truly see Trump as the best without applying any real critical thinking to the question of Lincoln versus Trump. They just say Trump's better. For others, it's ignorance. They don't really know what Lincoln did. So Trump is better in their minds. It's a combination of ignorance plus lack of critical thinking. For others, they actually don't like Lincoln because he freed the slaves and was on the side of the Union in the Civil War. You can see this when you look at the regionalized results, where in the South, the numbers are most skewed against Lincoln and towards Trump. And then there are just some sort of general cognitive biases at play. There's the recency bias. That's where a person more easily remembers recent events compared to something that occurred a while back. That will skew results. This would suggest that any poll about the current president versus a president hundreds of years ago would be skewed towards the current president to some degree because of recency bias. Then you also have the availability bias, which is kind of implicit in what I already told you. This is the human tendency to think of examples more easily of things that happened recently and to imagine that they are representative to a greater degree than they are. So if you can think of more things Trump did that you like compared to Lincoln, you extrapolate and you say, well, Trump is better on that basis because I can remember more things that Donald Trump did. So this is about many things. It is in part about the ideologically blinded, ignorant Republicans. It's also about the cult of personality around Donald Trump, but there are some general cognitive biases at play as well. What I believe this points to as a strategy, and I know I'm a broken record on this, you can't argue with people who think Trump is better than Lincoln and rationally explain to them why they should vote for someone else. Let's not even try that as a way to win in 2020. I told you earlier in the show when we watched video of that totally delusional Trump supporter who said, I love Trump because he's honest and he has integrity and he has family values. You can't argue with that. If someone has a disagreement on tax policy and they like Trump's tax policy, we might be able to have a conversation. When someone is so deluded and disconnected from reality, the arguments are a waste of time. We're better off getting out the vote. We're better off finding people who are already on our side, but might not care enough to vote or might not think their vote is important. Those are the folks that we want to be going after, trying to change the minds of someone who loves Trump's family values or thinks Trump is a better president than Lincoln. It's a waste of time. It's not going to win the November of 2020 election for us. Let me know what you think. Leave a reply if you're watching on YouTube. Send me a tweet at Pakman. We will take a quick break and then talk about interesting news out of Google and YouTube. I also have some book recommendations for you, an excellent voicemail. Glad you're with us on this first show back after the Thanksgiving holiday. Before you go on to the next video, please hit subscribe and like. We are trying to figure out what this will do for helping us in YouTube's algorithm. I will report back to you, but please, before you go on to the next video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Thank you.